You ever been on a late night POTA activation playing some Parks in the dark and your FT-891 backlight is just blinding no matter how dim you have it? Stick around. I'm going to show you how to void your FT-891 warranty for sure, but we're going to turn that into that. Stay tuned. The first thing I need to say about this is it will void your FT-891 warranty. You do have to take apart the display head. So if you're kind of queasy about doing that kind of stuff, move along. Don't watch this video. This will void your warranty. Let me say it again. This will void your warranty. This is for educational purposes only. I do not recommend that you do this, but it's fun. Right here, it's going to be up here the whole stream. This will void your warranty for educational purposes only. CYA. What you're going to need for this is no soldering. No, this is easy peasy. 5 minutes. You can do it. I've already done one of my FT-891s. I can talk. I'm going to do the other one here to show you how to do it. Easy stuff you're going to need. Okay. You're going to need a set of small little screwdrivers. You're going to need a Phillips head, like a little jeweler screwdriver, and a little flathead jeweler screwdriver. You're going to need a pair of scissors, preferably sharp. You're going to need an FT-891, obviously, because that's what we're doing it for. If you're like me, you're going to need a pair of glasses because you're getting old. The biggest thing you're going to need, and links in the description, this is color film. It is transparent little color film. See through the background a little bit. They use it on studio lights mainly, in theater, to change the color of light from white to, in this case, red or green, yellow, whatever color light you want. A color gel, sometimes I guess they call it. Don't cheap out on these. Links in the description below to a reputable one where you're going to get what you pay for. I went with the Roscoe brand. Very dependable. They are known in the theater and the studio lighting industry. The color you order is the color you're going to get. Don't make the mistake and try to cheap out buying cheaper color gels. I did, and I had to actually stack 3 color gels together to get it the color that I wanted, and it wasn't as crisp and it wasn't as clear and as vibrant as I thought it should be. So I got the Roscoe color gel. Again, link in the description below. Get the right color gels here. And the display is beautifully crisp, nice contrast. Looks a lot better than my camera could pick up in a picture that you may have saw in a thumbnail or in the intro. It looks beautiful to the eye. So let's drop down to the desk real fast and let me show you how to take the head apart and get this color change done. Let's go. All right, the first thing you're going to need is obviously your FT-891. If you don't know how to take the faceplate off, check the manual, but there's a little button over here on the side you push, and then you can just slide it over, and it pops right off. And just to show you right now, this is the default white. Sorry for the little flicker, and if you can see that there, it's just the refresh rate on the camera that I'm using. That is the Yaesu default backlight color, and that's what we're going to change to be that nice beautiful red that's going to save your night vision. So power the radio off. We're going to unhook that. We're going to move this out of the way and we'll be right back. All right, so here we are with just the head unit here for the Yaesu. First thing you're going to want to do, the only knob that needs to come off here is your multifunction knob. And luckily, because that's the easiest one to get off, you're just going to grab your multifunction knob and give it a good pull, and it's going to come right off. So you see it's kind of has a D shape to it, and it fits right into the knob. So just grab that and pull it, and it'll come right off nice and easy. Set that aside. Don't lose it, or you're going to be in a world of hurt. Next thing we need to do to your face, look at the back side of it. There's 4 screws. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're going to take your small little Phillips head jeweler screwdriver, and we're going to remove these 4 screws. All right, we got our 4 screws removed. Now you can just take the back cover plate, take it right off. That's all you need to do, just take the cover plate off. This board, you're going to have to undo some of these ribbon cables. Not all of them. I'll show you which ones. And there's 2 screws holding this board on. One right here and one right here. Both of those are Phillips heads as well. But first, before we remove these screws, let's go ahead and get these little ribbon cables up out of the way. This one here, little 4-cable conductor, you can just grab this and it just pops right out. So take this one off. The next one you want to take off is this one right here. And this one just kind of sits in this connector. It's a flat ribbon cable. You just want to grab it very carefully and rock it side to side real carefully, and it'll just pop right out of its little area that it sits right in here. This one is where you need that little flathead screwdriver for. So get your little flathead screwdriver. The black bar right here, this holds this ribbon cable into this connector. So what you're going to want to do very carefully, take this black bar and you're just going to flip it up. And that's going to unlock that ribbon connector. See how that little thing right there flipped upwards to hold this ribbon connector. Now simply you can just grab this ribbon connector and it should just pop right loose. Those are the only 3 things that you have to remove from the board in order to flip this board over. You don't have to remove this one or the one right here. So now let's take out these 2 Phillips head screws and we'll flip the board over. All right, we got our 2 Phillips head screws out. Now we need to flip this board. We're going to take the board up and we're going to flip it over and lay it right here. So this thing kind of gets snagged sometimes, so kind of grab the connector here, kind of wiggle it out, and you'll see this board can just come straight up. Go ahead and get this out of the way, and then you can just flip this right over. That's why we didn't have to undo these 2 ribbon cables, because we can just flip it right over. The white thing that you're seeing right here is actually your screen, and you can actually just pry it right up. Take a little flathead screwdriver, just stick it under the edge there, and just very gently it'll just pop right up. There's really nothing, it's just a little friction fit in there. And this is the actual screen for the FT-891. It comes right out, no problem at all. This white piece right here, I'm going to go ahead and take mine out because you have a 50-50 chance of that thing falling out on you. And if it does fall out on you, don't worry about it because I'm going to show you how to put it back in. It's actually keyed with a little notch down here. A little notch on here, a little notch on here. It only fits in there one way, just like that. But if it does fall out on you, don't worry because I'll show you how to put that back in as well. Now what we need to do is we need to grab our color film, and we are going to cut a square of color film that is going to go over the screen itself. Let's do that now. So we have our color film here and my screen. I'm just going to put my screen on the edge of my color film. Whoops, sorry, you're in the frame there. Put my screen on the edge of the color film just so I can get it roughly how big I need it. Then I'm just going to trim my color film. Be careful not to cut your ribbon cable because that would suck. And go ahead and make it bigger. Go ahead and make it bigger to start with. That way you can trim it down to the right size when we get it. Let me get this out of the way now. So now we have a sheet of our color film. Remove our little protective layer here. And we'll see right now it's way too big. But we have room to work with, which is why we did it. So we're going to trim this now. That looks a lot better. So let's see if it'll just sit right down in here. What we're looking for is for this thing just to sit right in here and not bind up or anything like that. So I do see I have to cut a little bit more off the top because it is kind of binding up here. Set it back in there. All right. Now it's setting in there. All right, so you are going to set your film in here. If you wanted to, go ahead and clean your fingerprints off of it, which I think I'll do. But you'll set your film right on top of there. You'll take your screen. You'll put your screen right back in. And you'll know when it drops right into place. Then just press it down. And then you can see on the other side, we're starting to look like a nice red there, aren't we? Starting to look pretty good. So now we have our screen on that side. This little piece that probably fell out on you. That notch goes into the notch on one side. This only fits in there one way. But you really can't get it wrong. So just slide it back down in there. Flip our board back over. That goes into that hole. And we want to make sure these ribbon cables actually come up and don't get stuck underneath the board. So stick that cable through there, this ribbon cable above the board, this ribbon cable above the board, and we should be able just to snap this back down in here. There we go. All right, now I would go ahead and put the screws in now because it's going to be a lot easier. So the two silver screws that you took out right here and right here, go ahead and put those back in. Okay. This little thing is probably hanging out. If it is, just take it and push it down in there so the cover won't smack it. Let's do it in reverse order here. This ribbon cable, make sure your little gate right here is still up. See, that's down, that's up. You want to make sure that gate is up. Take your ribbon cable and you're just going to... I actually need to put my glasses on to see this. I'm getting old, guys. I'm telling you. This little ribbon cable here, you're going to just set it in here. Make sure the gate's up. And you're just going to set that in there. Just like that. Then you're going to pop that gate down and that gate holds it. Good to go. This blue end right here. Why are you out of focus a little bit now? This blue end right here goes into that hole. So you're just going to put that in there and put a little bit of pressure in it, side to side rock. A little bit of pressure, side to side rock, and you'll feel that seat when it gets down in there. Don't push too hard. Just rock it gently, side to side, and you will feel it seat down in there once it's done. And then make sure this is stowed away underneath the board so it doesn't get pinched or anything when you put the cover back on. This connector that we took off, simply just plug that back in, fold that over, and now we are ready to put your back plate back on. That's how simple this is, guys. Not hard to do. Slap your back plate back on, and guess what you do now? 4 screws you took out. Bam, 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 bam. Put them in. Now, the only knob you took off, we got to put back on, right? So let's find the little indentation there. Give it a good push. Make sure she still clickies. And let me bring the radio back over here, and we'll hook it up and see what she looks like. All right, got the radio back over here. Let's hook it up, power her on. Oh, beautiful. This looks so much better to me. See about the... Oh, yeah. This looks so much more better. More better. Most gooder. My camera's having trouble picking up the red, but this is a very, very nice red. And it's crisp. It is clear. And this thing looks awesome. Well, there you go, guys. Take your FT-891 screen from 0 to hero so you can read it when you're doing parks in the dark. This was not my original idea. I didn't even think about doing this, but every now and again, there's a little gem that floats across the Facebook page for Parks on the Air. This one was done by Eric Bacon Fell. He posted on Facebook back in December, the end of December, about his Franken 891, and he showed his red screen, and I said, "Ooh, I gotta have it." So he let us know what color gel films and brand gel films that he used, and I figured the rest out. Just took the head apart and figured out this is pretty daggum easy. But as I said earlier, we'll void your warranty. For educational purposes only, it's cool as hell. See ya.